One day, they stop replying. Not dramatically, not with a big fight, not with some long message explaining everything. They just slowly disappear. The group chat gets quieter. The calls go unanswered. The person who used to listen to everyone, understand everyone, help everyone, and somehow always know what was really going on, suddenly becomes hard to reach. And people usually explain it in the easiest way. Maybe they became arrogant. Maybe they think they're better than everyone. Maybe they're depressed. Maybe they changed. Maybe they found new people. But sometimes, intelligent people disappear for a much quieter reason. They finally get tired of seeing patterns nobody else wants to admit are there. Because intelligence is not just about knowing facts. It is not just about grades, books, money, or sounding smart in conversations. A lot of the time, intelligence is pattern recognition. It is noticing when someone only reaches out when they need something. It is noticing when an apology is really just a way to end the conversation. It is noticing when the same person keeps hurting you, then acting confused when you react. It is noticing when a room is full of smiles, but almost no honesty. And once you see those patterns, it becomes very hard to unsee them. At first, the intelligent person usually tries to explain. They give people chances. They tell themselves, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe they were just tired. Maybe they did not mean it that way. Maybe this time will be different. So they stay. They answer the messages. They show up. They listen. They forgive. They make themselves available. And because they are good at understanding people, people start using that. Not always on purpose. Most people do not wake up thinking, I am going to drain someone today. But it still happens. The intelligent person becomes the free therapist, the problem solver, the calm one, the one who understands, the one who won't judge, the one who can handle it. And that sounds like a compliment until you realize it can become a trap, because when everyone thinks you can handle everything, they stop asking if you're okay. They assume you're strong. They assume you're fine. They assume your silence means peace, not exhaustion. So the intelligent person keeps carrying things quietly, other people's emotions, other people's crises, other people's secrets, other people's confusion. And after a while, social life doesn't feel like connection anymore. It starts to feel like work. This is one of the reasons intelligent people disappear, not because they hate people, but because they're tired of constantly reading the room. They notice tone. They notice body language. They notice contradictions. They notice when someone says, I'm fine, but clearly is not. They notice when someone is pretending not to be angry. They notice when a joke is not really a joke. They notice when a conversation has a hidden agenda. And sometimes their brain doesn't know how to stop noticing. So even simple interactions become heavy. A quick hangout becomes emotional analysis. A casual message becomes, what do they really want? A family gathering becomes a room full of old patterns repeating in new clothes. And after enough of that, silence starts to feel safer than conversation. Distance starts to feel cleaner than explanation. Being alone starts to feel less lonely than being surrounded by people who don't really see you. But here's the part people miss. When intelligent people disappear, it's often not sudden to them. It only looks sudden to everyone else. Inside, they may have been leaving for a long time. Every ignored boundary was one step. Every one-sided conversation was one step. Every fake apology was one step. Every time they felt unseen was one step. Every time they had to explain the same pain to the same person again was one step. So when they finally go quiet, other people are shocked. But to them, it feels like the final page of a book they've been reading for years. They didn't disappear out of nowhere. They just stopped announcing the damage. And that's another reason intelligent people pull away. Eventually, they realize that explaining themselves doesn't always lead to being understood. Sometimes it only gives people more words to argue with. You explain why something hurt you, they say you're too sensitive. You explain why you need space, they say you're being cold. You explain the pattern, they focus on one tiny detail and avoid the bigger truth. You try to be honest, they turn it into a debate. And slowly, the intelligent person learns something painful. Not everyone wants clarity. Some people only want access. They want you available, but not honest. Helpful, but not tired. Understanding, but not demanding. Present, but not fully human. And once an intelligent person realizes that, they stop trying to be understood by everyone. They become selective. They start protecting their attention. They stop answering every message immediately. They stop explaining every mood. They stop joining conversations that only drain them. They stop chasing people who are comfortable losing them. And from the outside, it can look cold, but from the inside, it feels like breathing again. Because disappearance is not always rejection. Sometimes it's recovery. Sometimes it's the nervous system finally saying enough. Enough noise, enough pretending, enough shallow connection, enough emotional labor with no return, enough being around people who only like the version of you that's useful to them. This is why many intelligent people need silence, not because silence is empty, but because silence is where they can hear themselves again. When they are always surrounded by other people's needs, other people's opinions, other people's drama, their own inner voice gets buried. So they retreat, they read, they walk alone, they sit in their room, they turn off notifications, they spend time with 1 or 2 people instead of 20. They choose peace over popularity, depth over noise, clarity over constant contact. And yes, sometimes this can go too far. Sometimes disappearing becomes avoidance. Sometimes silence becomes a wall. Sometimes an intelligent person convinces themselves they're protecting their peace when really they're just afraid of being hurt again. That part matters too, because intelligence doesn't make someone emotionally perfect. It doesn't make them kinder. It doesn't make them wiser automatically. It doesn't mean they always know how to communicate. Sometimes intelligent people disappear because they're overwhelmed but don't know how to ask for help. Sometimes they withdraw because they expect people to read their mind. Sometimes they leave too quickly because they've been disappointed too many times before. So this isn't about pretending intelligent people are above everyone else. They're not. They can be difficult. They can overthink. They can isolate. They can misread things. They can protect themselves so much that nobody can reach them. But the deeper truth is this: many intelligent people disappear because they've learned the cost of staying where they aren't understood. And once they feel that cost deeply enough, they start choosing differently. They choose fewer people, quieter rooms, slower replies, longer walks, smaller circles. They stop needing everyone to know where they are. They stop needing everyone to approve of their choices. They stop performing availability just to seem nice. And eventually, they understand something most people only learn after a lot of pain. Being connected to everyone is not the same as being close to anyone. You can have hundreds of contacts and still feel unseen. You can be in every group chat and still feel alone. You can be surrounded by people and still feel like nobody actually knows the real you. So intelligent people disappear because they're looking for something more honest, a life where their mind can rest, a circle where they don't have to translate themselves constantly, a space where silence is not punished, a relationship where they are not only valued for what they can solve, give, fix, or understand. They don't vanish because they think they're better than everyone else. They vanish because they finally stop abandoning themselves just to remain available to everyone else. And that's the real reason their disappearance feels so strange, because they were there for so long, listening, helping, understanding, noticing, absorbing. And then one day, they become quiet, not because they have no feelings, but because they have too many feelings. Not because they don't care, but because caring without boundaries was slowly destroying them. So if an intelligent person disappears from everyone's life, maybe they're not trying to hurt anyone. Maybe they're not being mysterious. Maybe they're not becoming cold. Maybe, for the first time in a long time, they're choosing peace over being needed. And sometimes the person who disappears is not lost. They're finally coming back to themselves.